بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
هيا على خير الأمل هيا على خير الأمل هاي حسين يا حسين هاي حسين يا 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 حسين
زہرا قبول کیجئے پرسا حسین کا
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وحبيب إله العالمين الذي قيل في شانه وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين أعني أبي القاسم محمد والصلاة والسلام على أهله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إن الحسين مصباح الهدى وسفينة النجاة صلوات على محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jalla, the merciful, has blessed us again that today, the 3rd of Muharram, we have gathered here at Al-Mahdi Center in Sheffield to remember the tragedies that fell upon Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam and his family. There are many people in the world that claim that they love Ali Muhammad. Every single person who believes in the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal and who also believes in the Risalat of Rasulullah Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, he claims that he also loves the family of Rasulullah. But isn't there a difference in claiming to love the family of Rasulullah and to actually love the family of Rasulullah? Because we find that when the moon of Muharram is seen, there are certain groups, there are certain people who only remember Imam Hussain, and for the month of Muharram, they stopped all their worldly affairs and they spent the next 10 days in commemorating Imam Hussain. So we find that there is a difference in actually loving Ali Muhammad and claiming to love Ali Muhammad. Because every single person claims that he is a Muslim. Every single person claims that he follows Rasulullah. But how is it that we can have that certainty that we are amongst those people that have been accepted by Allah and have been accepted by Rasulullah? We find that in narrations, when the last time of the Holy Prophet was near, the Holy Prophet, he made a statement. He said, "O Muslims, O those that follow the Tawheed of Allah, O those that claim to follow my Risalat, I am leaving you behind two things." The Prophet of Islam is saying that I am leaving you behind two things. One is the Quran, a guide from Allah Azza wa Jal, and the other is Ali Muhammad.
Where Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Two things the Prophet said I am leaving you. One is the Quran, and the second is Ali Muhammad. Now if you remember yesterday I said that the topic that we are using this year, it is guidance through Ali Muhammad. Now the Prophet said I am leaving you behind two things. One is the Quran and the second is Ali Muhammad. Now this is the Prophet of Islam who is saying this. What can we take from this hadith, Sakalain? We can take that the Quran is also hidayat for us and Ali Muhammad is also hidayat for us. Now guidance, hidayat, guidance, it is a nur from Allah Azza wa Jal. It is a light from Allah Azza wa Jal. Now not every single person has a heart and mind to understand this guidance. Not every single person can understand the guidance from Allah Azza wa Jal. If that were the case, if by reciting La ilaha illallah and saying Muhammadur Rasulullah, if that was enough for us to complete our faith, then why would Allah Azza wa Jal ask you to repeat 5 times a day in namaz, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim? If we were all on the path of hidayat, then why would Allah Azza wa Jal remind you that, O Muslims, remember, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim? Every single person recites this. Our namaz is not complete without this supplication, without this dua. Surah Al-Fatiha, we say this every single day. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Oh Allah, guide us on the right path. Ihdi, Nasirat al-Mustaqim. Ihdi does not mean only me. It is a jam. Allah is saying that together say, Ihdi, guide us on the right path. Sirat al-lazina an'amta. Which path? Allah is giving His sign. Guide us on that path upon whom you shower your bounties. That path that you favor. Now we as Muslims, we have recited Shahadat, we have confirmed Tawheed, we have confirmed Risalat. Then why after confirming Tawheed and Risalat and Wilayat, why is Allah still asking us to say, Ihdi Nasirat al-Mustaqim? This is a verse that we need to ponder over. This is a verse that we need to understand. Because Allah Azza wa Jal is our Lord. He knew that a time will come when these people, they will forget the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. That is why Allah Azza wa Jal is asking us to repeat 5 times a day to remind ourselves and those people that listen to us, to remind them that remember Sirat al-Mustaqim, that path which takes us to Allah, that path which takes us to Rasulullah. It is that path which Allah showers His bounties upon. How can we understand which is Sirat al-Mustaqim? Allah Azza wa Jal clarifies this in Surah Yasin. He clarifies this in Ayat al-Kursi. Allah says, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min al-dhulumati ila al-nur. Allah is telling you that the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim, the path that takes you towards Allah, the path that takes you towards Rasulullah, the path that takes you towards Imam al-Muttaqin, it is that path that takes you away from darkness and towards the light of Allah. The path of Sirat al-Mustaqim is that path that takes you away from darkness and towards the light of Allah. It is this light that we need to look for. It is this light, this nur that we need to find. Guidance, Hidayat itself is a nur. But how can we find Hidayat? How can we find guidance? Because every single person, no matter what he does, if he is a doctor, he is studying to become a doctor, a time will come in his life when he completes his degree, he is certified now that he is a doctor. An engineer, an accountant, any job that you take, even a taxi driver, once he completes his NVQ, once he passes his taxi badge, a level comes in his life where he does not need to study anymore. Why? Because worldly, he has now been certified that he has all the knowledge to obtain the degree which he is wanting to have. But it is the nur of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is the knowledge of Allah Azza wa Jal that even if you spend your life in obtaining this knowledge, you cannot obtain it. That is knowledge. Then how can we understand the fazilat of just Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib? Worldly knowledge can be summarized by a degree. by a certificate. But what does Rasulullah say in regards to Imam Ali? The Holy Prophet of Islam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Ya Ali, if all the trees become pens, and if all the seas together, if all the water becomes ink, and every single angel sits down to recite and to write your fazilat, then the ink would not be enough, and the trees would not be enough, and no one can complete the fazilat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Nobody can complete the fazilat of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he is our first guide. He is our first Imam. After Rasulullah, he is our first Hadi. And we want guidance through Ali Muhammad. So before we can obtain guidance, before we can gain that knowledge and implement that knowledge into our lives, we need to understand who Ali Muhammad are. Because every single knowledge comes in stages. If you want to use, the reason why we have to keep giving a worldly example is because the youth, they need to understand that you cannot just obtain something by just wanting it. Let me go back to the example that if somebody, like the example I used yesterday, if somebody wants to swim, you cannot just pick him up and throw him into the water. His parents, who want to make sure that he achieves everything possible in life, what is the first thing that they will do? They will find him a teacher who will teach him how to swim. Once they have found a teacher who can teach him how to swim, then they will find a swimming pool where they can send him to learn swimming. And by having a teacher and having a swimming pool, that is not enough. The teacher will require something in between to get this child into water. And that is where your armbands come in. Now your armbands will act as a support. Your armbands will help you in learning how to swim. This is how we need to understand religion. If the Quran, according to some people, if the Quran was enough for us, then Allah would have just sent His book by an angel, and He would have said, here is a book, read it and implement on it. But Allah Azza wa Jal did not just send a book, He sent prophets to explain the verses, to explain the meanings. And then the Prophet of Islam left behind this silsila of wilayat, this silsila of imamat, so that the nation of Rasulullah is never left without a hadi or a guide. It is our iman and our yaqeen. There is never a time when a guide, a hadi, an imam of Allah Azza wa Jal is not present in this world. At this moment in time, our imam, the 12th imam, Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, he is listening to us. He is replying. But unfortunately, due to our sins, due to the fact that we have moved away from Ali Muhammad, due to the fact that we have stopped understanding Tawheed, Risalat and Wilayat, we cannot hear the voice of Imam Zaman. Because at this time, the Imam is speaking. Why do you think that the Imam said to his companions that remind my Shia that whenever they are alone, they need to call upon me. I am listening. I am the Imam. Make a habit. You know, like the Christians, before they go to bed, they have an act that they do which every single person has seen on TV or knows. That before they go to bed, they sit on the bed, they fold their arms, they look above, they look at the sky, and they talk to their God. They talk to Jesus. Every single parent who is a Christian reminds his child that no matter how many difficulties you are facing, no matter how many problems have surrounded you, remember that your God is watching you. Remember that Jesus Christ is with you. Why cannot we adopt this? We need to educate our youth and our children that instead of sharing your problems with others, it is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. There is an English saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. Only if sharing a problem will halve a problem. But if you speak to your friend, you share your problem with him, it is a good thing. But that person can only advise you to what his power is. But remember, if you speak to Imam Zaman, if you speak to Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Faraj Sharif, he is that Imam who has power over the earth and the skies. He is our Imam. And I would like to share a story here regarding Hazrat Sulaiman. Hazrat Sulaiman was a prophet of Allah. And every single person knows that Hazrat Sulaiman had power over the wind. He could speak to things, he could move things. You've heard the waqia of how in his time the Takht of Bilqis was moved. But one day, whilst Hazrat Sulaiman was sitting on his mimbar, a person came to Hazrat Sulaiman and he says, "O Prophet of Allah, I have just seen Hazrat Israel, the angel of death," those that do not know. He says to the Prophet of God that I have just seen the angel of death and I am really scared that the angel of death has come to take my soul. O Prophet of Allah, I want you to send me to such a country where the angel of death cannot go. Hazrat Sulaiman asked, "Which country do you want to go to?" Now I am reading from the reference which is in the book, and in the book the country which is stated is India. At this moment in time we are not in favor of India in regards to the zulm that India is doing on the Kashmiri Muslims. Problem with India in the sense there are more azadar of Imam Hussain in India than there are in Pakistan. Our problem is not with the Indians, but it is with the government of India. Why are they killing innocent people? Forget the title Muslim. Forget for a second Sunni or Shia. They are killing innocent humans. And we, as followers of Imam Hussain, we condemn any sort of terrorism. Because we are the followers of Imam Hussain. And to stop zulm, to stop terrorism, Imam Hussain left Medina and he went to Karbala. So this person said to the Prophet of Allah, Hazrat Sulman, "O Prophet, send me to India." The Prophet commanded the wind, and this person, he went to India. A few hours later, Hazrat Israel, the angel of death, came to Hazrat Sulman and said to Hazrat Sulman, Hazrat Sulman asked the angel of death, "O Israel, why are you scaring people?" And the angel of death says to the Prophet, "O Prophet, I was not scaring him, but when I saw him roaming around your palace, I thought to myself, that Allah has commanded me that I am going to take his soul in India, and I am thinking that this person is with you. How is he going to get to India? And now I have realized that me being there and you sending him to India, you have made my job easier." What is the moral of the story? The moral is that whenever Allah Azza wa Jal wants something to happen, it will happen. Death will come no matter where you are, what you are doing. But remember this, what sweet that death will be if it comes when you are doing the zikr of Muhammad and Ali. How sweet will that death be when you are remembering Allah, His Prophet and His Wali. We need to make a habit. And we need to make this a habit that not only we do this, but our children also do this. Constantly remember Allah. Constantly remember death. Because death is that certainty that no matter how far we run away from death, no matter how hard we try in our society not to mention death, death is that reality that one day it will come. And before death comes, you need to be amongst those people that can claim that we have found the Noor of Allah. We have found the guide of Allah. We are amongst those people that are on Sirat al-Mustaqim. And this is our purpose. And this is why we gather here every single day to remember Ali Muhammad. Because to know Ali Muhammad and to believe in Ali Muhammad, there is a difference. Every single person, as I said in the beginning, every single person knows who Ali Muhammad are. If they did not know who Ali Muhammad was, then why would, according to a narration in the books of Ahl Sunnah, why would Hazrat Umar say to his son that, "Oh my son, if Hassan and Hussain have said to you that we are their servants, then go to them and tell them to write this down." They knew very well who Ali Muhammad are. Abu Bakr knew, Umar knew, Usman knew, all the companions of Rasulullah knew very well who the Ali Muhammad are. But unfortunately, they did not believe in Ali Muhammad. Every single person knows. Going back to the first point that I said, if those people that actually implemented on the teachings of Rasulullah, if they knew who Ali Muhammad were, and they actually believed in who Ali Muhammad were, then they wouldn't have asked Imam Hussain to leave Medina. Azadaro, the reason why we remember Imam Hussain year after year, the reason why we come here, we bring our children, we bring our sisters and our mothers, because we want them to know the tragedies that fell upon Imam Hussain. Azadara, it was the night of 27th or 28th of Rajab, when Imam Hussain ﷺ received a message from Yazid, may Allah's la'nat be upon him. He sent a message to Medina. He said to Walid that now I am the Khalifa of the Muslims, and my father Muawiyah ibn Sufyan, he said that if you want your Khilafat to stay alive, if you want to stay a Khalifa of the Muslims, then the first thing that you need to do is that you need to get the bayat, the allegiance from Hussain ibn Ali. He sent a letter. Now when the governor of Medina, when he received this letter, he sent some guards to the house of Hussain ibn Ali. When these guards arrived, they said that the governor of Medina has summoned you, and there are some certain issues that he wants to discuss with you. This is where Karbala started from. The day that the Prophet left this world, and the so-called Muslims that were left behind, they gathered in Saqifa. And as I mentioned yesterday, these Muslims then also gathered at the house of Rasulullah. But these Muslims, they sent a message. Imam Hussain said that you go, I will attend. Imam Hussain ﷺ gathered his companions, and Imam Hussain said to all the Nojawan of Bani Hashim, Imam Hussain said to them that we do not want to fight in the city of Rasulullah. We do not want a war in my grandfather's city. Let's go and let's listen to what they want to say. Imam Hussain was an imam of the time. Surely he knew what Walid wanted to say and what the plan of Yazid and his army was. Because this waqi of Karbala was narrated to Imam Hussain by Rasulullah. Imam Hussain went. Alas, you know all the story. But just for the youngsters, when Imam Hussain arrived in the Darbar, these people asked Imam Hussain, they said that Yazid has sent us a letter. Yazid is demanding that Hussain ibn Ali pays allegiance, he does bayat to Yazid. Imam Hussain became angry because he was the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Imam Hussain stands up and says, how can a person like me, whose father is Amir al-Mu'mineen, how can he do bayat with someone who is like Yazid? Imam Hussain says, how can someone like me, whose mother is Fatimah Zahra, how can he do bayat with someone like Yazid? Alas, Azadaro, the time came when Imam Hussain had no choice but to leave Medina. Every single person loves his city. Every single person loves his country. Our children are born in England. When we take them to Pakistan or India or any other country, they want to go back to their country, which is England. Imam Hussain, who is the leader of the youth of paradise, Imam Hussain, whose grandfather is Rasulullah, Imam Hussain, whose father is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Hussain, whose mother is Fatima al-Zahra. How do you think Imam Hussain felt when he knew that he had no other choice but to leave Medina? Azadaro, Imam Hussain came to the grave of Rasulullah. And when he came to the grave of his grandfather, Imam Hussain stood next to the grave of his grandfather, and Imam Hussain began to cry. This is the reason why we cry in Muharram. This is the reason why we remember Imam Hussain. When Imam Hussain came close to the grave of his grandfather, he said, Assalamu alayka ya Rasul Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Nabi Allah. O Prophet of Allah, my salutations be upon you. O my grandfather, my salutations upon you. Imam Hussain began to cry and he said, Oh my grandfather, your ummah has asked me to leave Medina. Hussain has decided to leave Medina. Allah, why do we cry in Muharram? Why do we remember Imam Hussain? When Imam Hussain decided to leave Medina, if Imam Hussain was leaving alone, then that was okay, but the reason we are crying, Imam Hussain goes to the grave of his mother Zahra. He says, oh my mother Zahra, Hussain is not leaving alone, he is taking Zainab with him. When the name of Zainab came, a sound came and said, where are you taking Zainab? Imam Hussain begins to cry and he says, oh my mother, I will be killed in Karbala, but Zainab will go to Sham without a rida. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May Allah Azza wa Jal, for the sake of this zikr of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, forgive our sins and raise the ranks of our marhumeen with the shuhada of Karbala. Allah Azza wa Jal, we pledge, we ask you for the sake of Imam Hussain, those people that are helping this idara, those people that are doing ta'wan with this idara, those people that are coming here to listen to the majlis of Imam Hussain. Allah, for the sake of Babul Hawaij, accept their du'as and hasten the reappearance of our Imam, Imam Sahib al-Asr al-Zaman. Can we have a loud salawat?